Hi, everyone. Welcome to Zita's Healthy Beginnings. This is our podcast evening, and it's World of Women podcast. Hi, everyone. And we are so glad that you guys are here with us. And I am so excited this evening. The sun is shining and it's pretty warm in many parts of the country. And this evening we have one of my friends all the way from Trinidad, right? Joining us. Leslie is her name. And Leslie is going to talk to us today about herself, all she does, and why she's doing what she is doing. And we're going to listen to her. And before we do that, let me remind all of us that this podcast is brought to you by World of Ability Podcast in collaboration with Transform You Network and Park. We are always excited and grateful for the opportunity to communicate with our audience through this means. And so Leslie Brasher is a certified life coach with a background in psychology and human resources. She is a mother of two beautiful daughters who are her inspiration for pursuing a coaching career. As a former people pleaser herself, which most of us can identify, Leslie has not only learned the theory of how to level up in life, but she has also put into practice all the techniques that she teaches. She wishes to support as many women as she can in their search for authenticity by helping them figure out those blind spots and limiting beliefs that are keeping them from pursuing the life of their dreams. Are you feeling lost, confused, disconnected? Do you daydream about the perfect life career partner, but then tell yourself that there is no way you can ever achieve it? Or do you just simply want to feel better? Leslie is trained in helping you to find inner peace. Stop overthinking. The solution is here with us. Set healthy boundaries and trust your decisions so that you can live life on your own terms. Everything you need to get you to the life of your dreams is already inside you. Very true. Leslie can help you conquer the journey one milestone at a time. So, Leslie, my friend, over to you. Share with our audience who you are, what you do, and what really brought you where you are right now.
Okay, so thank you for having me. I never know where to start when people ask me to talk about myself because there is so much to say. And you're like, okay, what are the more important points I need to touch on, right? So, I mean, like the bio says, I'm a mother of two. Both of my kids are born in July, like 4 days apart.
Wow.
Their birthdays are 4 days apart, not them being 4 days apart.
Right.
And so next month I am going to have a 20-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Oh.
And yeah, I know a lot of people will look at me and be like, how do you have a 20-year-old? Did you start when you were 4? But yeah, so yeah, from that, obviously you can tell I was a young mother and I got pregnant at a time where I was about to go to university. And that kind of put an entire stop on all my plans, especially coming from, the religious background that I did, where I was told, okay, well, that's it. No more dreaming, no more anything. You're a mother now. Everything is for the child, nothing is for you. And then of course you can't live with a man out of wedlock. So if you want to live with the child's father, you have to get married. So, I was kind of set up for a fall that I didn't realize was going to come. And because of that, I felt lost a lot because I knew I was meant for more. I knew I was meant for greatness. I always had these like grand visions for myself, for my life. And I did not fall into the typical scheme of people from my country where there's a running joke in my country where they say you can either become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or disgrace. So, I definitely didn't fall into the first three. So all those things like play on your mind. Like I went into psychology because of course you have to get a degree in something. And psychology for me was something that was like pretty easy, straightforward for me. So it's like, okay, I have to get a degree, I'll do that. But my life, even my university life was not a typical university life because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have to get home after class and cook dinner for my husband and take care of my child. And I really felt lost. I really felt lost and alone because there's none of my friends were going through what I was going through. And the people that I would have to look up to, my parents and my anyone older in my life, they for them it was just like, okay, we'll just get on with it. It doesn't matter how you feel, just get on with it. So I learned to keep suppressing how I felt, and I learned that my value was based on my relationship to others. So I was my child's mother, I was my husband's wife, I was even my mother's daughter, but I was never just Leslie. And so I lost my identity completely. Like I didn't know who I was unless I was something to someone. So that encouraged me to go become a people pleaser because, okay, if people are only going to value me if I am like giving all of myself to them, like overextending myself to them, that's the only way that's what I learned, that the only way people are going to value me, because I had fallen from grace. So now I had to build myself back up, and people pleasing was the way I did it. And I spent years doing that. And of course, that first marriage did not work out. When you're kind of forced into something that you didn't want to do, it's even when you try your best, it wasn't meant to be, and it ended. And even after it ended, I went through like trying to figure out who I was, because I was back in my mom's house trying to climb this ladder, fit into this box that I didn't fit into, and being told, okay, still, yeah, you can't go pursue all the things that you want to do because you have this child here. You have to just get on with it, right? So it was a constant battle of I want to do more and being told you cannot do more. You just have to do this and just do it. And I turned to things like alcohol and like random hookups and partying. And I was like the party animal, and everyone loved being around me, and everyone thought, oh, she's happy, she's carefree, she's always, and I was probably the loneliest, saddest person in the room. And no one ever knew that except for the one or two close friends who actually knew me on a deeper level. But if you look at my pictures, I'm always smiling. I'm always like, people around me, people are always drawn to me. And eventually it got to a point where I'm like, I cannot spend the rest of my life living like this. This is no way to live. And I mean, I was barely 30 years old at the point. there's just no way to spend the rest of my life. So my thought was, it's either I figure out how to change this or I end it, because I didn't want to continue any path that I was going on. And I seriously toyed with the idea of ending it, because to me, it's like, it will make everyone's life, including my life, easier, because I wouldn't be here to deal with it anymore. And I felt like I'm not contributing to anything great. I'm not contributing to my child's life in a way that I should. So she'd be better off without me, which it's a crazy thought to have, but that is what I was going through. Luckily, I did not choose that path. I started with self-help books. My first self-help book that I read was Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And, that was like a stepping stone for me to, yeah, okay, it's okay if I'm feeling uncomfortable, these uncomfortable sensations. That's what fear is, these uncomfortable sensations, because I want to try new things that I've never tried before. So it's going to feel unfamiliar, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing it wrong. It just means I'm stepping out of that comfort zone. But of course, when you're trying to do these things on your own and there is limited to no support around you, it's like climbing a mountain without any harness, without any support, and you're just praying to God that you don't fall. But I kept on going slowly, listening to different motivational speakers. One of my favorites was always Les Brown. And, he has a saying in one of his tapes, and I know I say tapes because I mean cassette tapes, because that's the era I'm from. But he would always say, it's not over until I win. And that is one statement that stuck with me throughout life. Like, that is a statement that I hold on to. It's not over until I win. And that is like my propelling thought. So it's going through that. And then it wasn't until I was working in a retail store, my friend's retail store. She wanted some help. And at that point, I was a stay-at-home mom in my second marriage. And just to make a few extra dollars, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I can help you. And I made friends with one of the girls working there. She's younger, she's like in her early 20s. And her family was trying to push her into business, and her passion lay in culinary arts. And like, it was my guidance with her and showing her, this is where your passion lies. It, like, do not allow your family to dictate where you are supposed to go. This is your calling, and it's yours for a reason. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. And I taught her about creating boundaries. Like, creating boundaries with your family doesn't mean that you hate them. It actually means that you love them a whole lot. But you're just telling them, this is the way, that this is the door to access me. You can't use the window. You can't come in the side way. You can't like make a crack anywhere. You have to come in this door. And like, up to today, she told me just today that, it's because of the guidance that I gave her. I changed her life completely. And she was the one who kind of encouraged me, you can become a life coach. And at a point in time, I didn't even know what a life coach was. To me, it sounded like something that rich people did. Rich people said, oh, I have a life coach, because it's fancy, it's trendy. It's like, what is a life coach? Like, why do you need a coach for life? It's life, right? But of course, I studied about it, and it's like, oh, okay. And of course, my psychology background really supported it. And I'm like, okay, my brother found me a certification that I can do. And I did that certification and became a life coach. And then the world shut down. COVID started.
Oh.
Well, so this has been being a life coach has been my COVID baby. I've built my business up throughout this 2-year pandemic and continuing to build it now. But for me, it's about being that support system that I needed when I was going through my own journey. That cheerleader, that someone to say, yes, you can do it. I believe in you. I trust you. You can believe in you. You can create anything you want, anything that your mind can conceive, you can achieve. And I know all those are kind of cliche sayings, but they're true. They're cliche because they're true. You can create anything that you want, but you have to start with that belief, that self-concept. So a lot of the times people come to you and they're like, okay, but what should I do? Okay, it's not what should you do. Who should you be? Who is the woman or man, if you're working with a man, or a person, who is that person that already has the result that you want? What are they doing? What are they thinking? How are they acting? I bet they're not worrying about all the things that you're worrying about. And you know, it's working from there. So I call myself a personal empowerment coach because that's what I do. I empower people to take their own power back. And to believe in themselves, trust themselves, love themselves, and from that space you can create the life that you desire. I think I got most of the story.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. This is really cool. So, you know, I was listening to you when you said the young woman that you worked with in a store and you were able to guide her. You know,
Mhm,
you were her life coach and
mhm.
she was able to figure out what she was meant to do and who she was meant to be, actually. So I
Yes.
think the same thing is true. Like when you said you that she has a gift that was not given to other people, but only to her. So what I feel is that whatever you went through at the time you were going through that
Yeah.
was in preparation
Yeah.
for this time that we are
Yeah.
right now listening to you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's because of what I went through, I can help people because I
Yes.
know I've walked in their shoes. I've been on down that road and I know how to get off that path onto the path that you want to.
Yes. So
Mhm.
really, sometimes when we pass through stuff in life, we don't really, I mean, like, yes, you're the one going through it. So all the pain, all the, stress and everything else is only you.
Yeah.
But just know that this is for the other people.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Because even for your own daughters.
Yeah.
So when you share this with them, it's like, wow. So mom went through this. So that
Exactly.
if by tomorrow they come across anything, like that will be a little bit so challenging that they're going to look back and say, well, mom went through something more than this. I think I can do it.
Absolutely. Exactly. And they definitely have a cheerleader in me.
Yeah.
Like my 20-year-old, she's graduating in 2 days. And she wants to get into graphic design animation, and I am her first cheerleader. I'm there for her, like, go do it,
Right. Right. True, true, really. So, yeah, whatever we have in this world that is being given to us, just know that it's precious. Know
Yeah,
that you are the only one that has been given that gift, and you're the only one to bring it forth. No
absolutely.
other person. And if we fail to do that, that piece will be missing.
Yeah.
That piece, that contribution will be missing in this whole wide world. So think about it. So I
Yeah.
am so glad that whatever you went through that was not easy, was
Yeah.
not comfortable, but that really helped you, transformed you to the person you are today.
Absolutely.
You know, and I want the people out there listening to us, our audience, to really understand that whatever one goes through is just not for you. You're doing it because there's a reason behind it. So do it with patience, do it with purpose. Because with that purpose comes miracles.
Yep.
And that's the only way you can reach out to the world with all you have, all you are. You can't be someone else. You're going to have to be yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is a very great testimony. I want to call it testimony because what you went through, a lot of people have gone through it, but we are not able to be in control at the end of it, like you are. And that's what I'm going to say next. So for people, young women, and even men who are struggling with life purpose, and they're listening to you, what word of encouragement, advice, and challenge would you like to give to them this evening?
Ooh.
Take your time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most important thing is learning to have compassion for yourself. You are having a human experience, and it's okay. Circumstances will always happen, and some of them will be unpleasant. And if you're going through some unpleasant circumstances right now, it's okay if you feel wretched. It's okay if you feel downcast. It's okay if you're angry or upset, you're sad. Like, we try to separate feelings into good feelings and bad feelings, but they're just feelings, all of them. They're just feelings, they're just sensations. And it's okay and it's safe to have what we deem as negative feelings, as long as you don't beat yourself up for having those feelings, because that's usually what we tend to do. We get upset in a situation and then we tell ourselves, oh, I shouldn't be angry at this. And we try to justify why we shouldn't be anything because other people have it worse than us, or whatever it is, the justification. Then we beat ourselves further down. So you're already feeling upset and then you beat yourself up. So you're going to feel even worse. And at that point, when you're feeling upset is when you need to be showing yourself compassion and telling yourself it's okay. I understand completely why you're having this reaction. I understand completely that it doesn't feel good, whatever the circumstances, if someone said something to you, you didn't win at something, whatever the circumstances is, it's okay. The showing yourself compassion is definitely one of the first steps. It's one of the first steps I had to take when I started working with my coach. And trust and believe, when she told me to spend the week just feeling my feelings and writing stuff down and showing myself compassion, I said, like, okay, but then what?
I know, right?
Then nothing. Feel your feelings again. Because
we want to know the next what, then what, then what.
We want to get to the end goal, and right now you have to deal with the starting line. And this is where you are in your journey right now.
On other plans we have for the rest of the month. So we're just looking at the minimum of
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. Yeah. So when you sit and you like allow yourself to feel these emotions, feel these sensations, like describe these sensations, you're teaching your body, you're teaching yourself that negative or quote unquote negative feelings are safe. Because we're all afraid of negative feelings because we think they are unsafe, that they mean something negative about us inherently, but your feelings don't mean anything about your inherent worth as a person or anything like that. You have your worth, and then you have thoughts, and they are connected to your feelings. They're two separate things. Yeah.
Yes, you know what? That's actually the best answer, because we can't achieve anything without getting in touch with who we are.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
It's easier to talk to someone else, to give them advice, to challenge them, to encourage them, to do all those nice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so scary when it comes to us, just me,
Yeah.
facing my shadow. It is so
Exactly.
scary. You would think that one would say, oh yeah, I can deal with that. It's me. I'm living in me all the time. No, it's so scary. And when you,
Absolutely.
yeah, when you said, your coach said to you, get in touch with those feelings. It's very important. And then you're like, so now what? After that, what? Because what is going on is we don't like to stay within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're always running away from us.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's everybody. It is everybody. So it is very critical that when one wants to make any change in their own life,
Mm-hmm.
or even the life of other people, you
Yeah.
must get in touch with your feelings.
Yeah.
It's only when I am with my feelings and I'm with me that I know who I am truly.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
And what I tell my clients is that if the way you're talking to yourself, you can't say those things to a 3-year-old, then you need to figure out a different way to talk to yourself.
Right. Wow. That is really awesome. Yes. So starting with self, finding out who I am,
Mm-hmm.
so I can reach out to other people with who I am 100%.
Yeah.
It's very important, especially when working with individuals.
Yes. Absolutely.
When you work with structures, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're dealing with the other human person, you really need to be aware of your own feelings,
Yes.
how you come across,
Yes.
because that has impact on the life you're touching.
Yep.
So thank you for bringing that out, because really, a lot of us don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's very critical.
Yeah.
And some of us just want to avoid it because we're scared. We don't even know why we're scared, but we are.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's because of something that was told to us time and again throughout our lives.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever feedback you're getting from society and your mind, especially your mind when you're a child, you're just trying to make sense of the world. And the story you come up with, that's the only sensible thing with what you know in that limited capacity as a child. So, and if there isn't someone to tell you, okay, no, and explain how what you're thinking is not the right way, then that's the story you're going to carry with you. And a lot of us have carried these stories from childhood with us because there was no one to actually tell us that, oh no, that's not right, sweetheart. Let me tell you how it actually is. Yeah. Like your worth has nothing to do with whether you win or you lose, whether you failed an exam, whether you got the job, you didn't get the job, you got the girlfriend, you got the boyfriend. Your worth has nothing to do with any of those things. You are inherently worthy because you are. Those things are just other things you can work on, circumstances you can work on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because society, I think society has really done a lot to human beings. That you're growing up and you're being told this, that, those are the things you're gonna do in life.
Yeah.
Without even spending time to learn who is this person?
Yeah.
Does this person know who they are? What are their gifts? How do they even find their gifts? Because the only way we can really thrive is when we find our gifts.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look
And
at you
especially if
now.
you live in a society where it pushes one narrative, like where I live, we're an oil and gas industry country. So that's where, being pushed into things like engineering, it was like a big thing. Like everyone isn't geared towards like math and engineering and studying and sciences and stuff. I definitely was not a science person.
And that doesn't mean you're not a person,
Exactly. Exactly. But even in the school system, it's kind of like a hierarchical thing. Because I did like business subjects in school, and the business classes were considered the dumb classes because business was supposedly easy.
And not everybody can do it. Even though it's deemed easy, not everyone can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's really interesting for us to understand, how we have all this brainwashing done from when we are little, and the more we grow older, it grows with us. Honestly, you can't even let go of it unless someone really taps you at the back and say, do you really recognize what you're doing that is damaging? Or just think about it. And that's the only time we're like, oh, yeah. So it's, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for all this input.
All the juiciness.
So I'm going to open it up to our audience. We have a great audience here. Please unmute your phone, whatever device you have, unmute and ask Leslie questions. This is the time to ask her questions. Make comments. Just feel free. We also have, if you're shy to ask questions like right now, you can also put it on our chat. We'll pick it up and have her answer the questions. Yeah, this is really great because knowing self is such a complicated process, and we need to take time. John has something to say. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
How do you know?
Good.
How did you know that?
Because you mute yourself already.
Well, I'm 70 years old, and I still have this voice in my head that when I try to start out on something new or I fail in the beginning, a voice goes off and says, see, they were right. When I was a kid, I had people, well, first of all, I became deaf in one ear and I couldn't hear a lot of stuff. So they thought I was retarded for the first 2 years of my life and when I was in the first grade. And then they took me to a psychologist and he tested me and he said, this kid is all right. He's got a pretty high edge, but he's just deaf in one ear. So go get him tested it and then realized that. But I think that period in there that was from like 4 to 6 years old, 7 years old, it's kind of stayed with me all my life. I'm a dummy, I'm retarded or whatever it was that they said about me, and I have to fight this. Even today, I have to fight, even with all the successes I've had in my life. That voice still rises up in there, and it drives me crazy. It makes me embarrassed at my own self. And even today, with my siblings, I don't get the kind of respect because they still remember me as having all these problems as a kid. So in a lot of ways, they still think this is my brother who's a dummy. Okay? I know they don't say that, and I know they try to fight it, but I find myself constantly when I'm working on something, it's like I'm trying to prove something. And it brings so much pressure on me and on my shoulders. So I understand that. I hate the feeling. I hate because sometimes the feeling is so powerful from when I was a kid, I can almost taste it, and it has caused me to have some real anger issues in my life because I fight back. I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid, but why do I have to prove this to other people and not just relax and live life, When I became a Christian, I was an atheist until I was 30 years old. When I became a Christian and I realized that I had another identity, my identity was not in myself, but through Jesus Christ. And I began to look at the world with a Christian worldview. And that has helped a lot also, but there's still this voice that comes out. Anyways, and I think the culture we live in has become so bad, and all the names that it's calling each other and all the enemies that it's creating. Just in the United States in the last couple of weeks here, all the stuff that's come out through the Supreme Court and stuff, I have my feelings and I know what I feel and I look at that and I understand, but it's just like if you're from the left, you're an idiot, a jerk, and if you're from the right, a conservative, you're an idiot also. It's like there's nothing in between. And I don't remember growing up like this. I don't remember this much going on in the world, and it just makes me very uncomfortable now. So I think this is causing some real consternation in a lot of people. So that's all I got to say. Zita, thank you for letting me say something.
Thank you so much, John. You really shared a lot there.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it because, it's not, I mean, you were really an exemplary to the rest of us because honestly, not everybody can acknowledge that and share it and still, say that we're human, that this comes out from time to time. And it is true. All of us we all have something that has been said to us. And like you rightly pointed out, as being still said to us, whether you're a man or you're a woman or you're black or you're white or in between or you're tall or short. I mean, there's still something.
Yeah.
And it's so scary sometimes to me when I think about it and reflect on it. I'm like, can we really be who we are for once and just be at peace with it? Why do we have to make all these problems for one another? You know, it's either we're dealing with war, or we're dealing with inflation, or we're dealing with one kind of constitution or the other, or one right or the other. It's all about control. You know, I'm like, can we all be free for once? Just be, like Leslie pointed out, you know, just be. Can we all just retreat for once and say, let me go back, who am I in this whole wide world?
I think we've got to be proactive. We got to take it because it's not going to come to us. This world doesn't want to give you anything unless you go and take it and just say, hey, you know, when I say take it, I don't mean to be violent about it, but sometimes you just have to, it's like breaking boundaries. You know, there's stuff about dealing with boundary busting from your family, you know, especially. And then sometimes it happens when you're working, they break the boundaries. But you got to figure out what your boundaries are.
Yeah, yeah. You have to know where your boundary is before you can enforce them, right?
That's true. And that takes
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure that out.
That takes work, you know?
It does, yeah.
It takes work. So, and that's why we're asking if anyone here is still, or our audience, you're watching this podcast and you really struggle. Remember, it's natural, it's normal to struggle with self-identity, self-boundary, self-purpose. That it's not unusual for people to struggle to ask themselves, where am I in this world? What am I here to do or to accomplish? And that's why we have Leslie here. If you need that kind of, you have that kind of question and you're needing some answers, please reach out to her. Leslie will need you to put in your address, contact information on the chart so people can reach out to you. So please reach out to Leslie. And the beautiful thing about her is she has learned from life experience. And that's for me what makes the best teacher or the best life coach is someone who is really helping you out of their own experience. They have been there, done that, so they know what works and what does not work. So, and you know that it is the only way that you can get to the root cause of whatever challenges you have in life. You want someone who has walked that walk. And that is very important. So we have Leslie's information here. We have John's information here too. Please contact Leslie and have her help you. And even if she cannot help you, I'm sure she has a connection that might really help solve your problems.
Yeah.
And women.
How did you two connect with each other?
HMP.
HMP, yeah. People were telling me, a few people from HMP said to me, oh yeah, you have to meet this woman. She's from Trinidad. She's so awesome.
Same for me. Yeah. You have to meet Zita. You have to meet Zita. It's okay.
So yes, that's how we got connected. And it's really divine connection. I can see that because women, we really need this whole support from each other. We need to really hold each other's hands and walk this walk because it can be scary. It can be lonely when you're really in this whole journey by yourself.
Yes.
And each person's journey is a little bit different. And that's why we need people, companions in the journey. Because someone would share something that you might benefit from that you never even know about yourself or about life.
Yeah.
So it's always helpful to really seek out people, be in that company where you can always get support.
Yeah.
And for women, we know that sometimes we feel like second-class citizens in this global world. We should not feel that way. Let's all reach out to one another, reach out to those who have the resources and talents and skills, and have them help us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for anything that deals with support, mental health, all those things. And I have my own coach. So I know because at the end, even though I'm a coach, I'm still human and I have my human brain to deal with. So I need my own help too.
True. That is so true. Yeah. 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 So I hope that this whole talk and advice and challenge and everything that Leslie has shared with us today has really inspired us to look into ourselves, know, and reach out when we have that need. And just remember, it's a normal and natural thing.
Yeah.
That you're just being yourself and really have the intention to make yourself better.
Yeah.
Because only someone who wants to be in a better position will look for something like this. If you don't want to get better or be a better person or live your life purpose, you won't really worry about looking for a life coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Leslie shared with us, is when she was like saying to herself, you know what, there's going to be a better way, that she reached out. So please, if you're having that urge, if you're having that inspiration, don't let it go unattended. Just reach out. Yeah, if you can reach out directly to Leslie, reach out to me and I'll connect you with her. So please, yeah, I thank everyone for really listening, coming, and I am very optimistic that we are all in this life for a purpose. The question is, what is your purpose? What is your life purpose?
Absolutely. And I would just like to say that you're encouraging people to reach out. And a lot of the times people don't reach out because they're telling themselves, oh, I need things to settle down. I need things to be perfect. I need all these other things to align before I work on myself. I need to work on all these things before I work on myself. And the fact that you think that you need to work on all these things is why you need to work on yourself.
Right.
That's why you need to reach out. All those things will take care of themselves when you start to take care of yourself. So invest in yourself. And be it with me, somebody else you feel aligned to, it doesn't matter. Just invest in yourself. That is the best thing you can ever do for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Well said. Anyone else have something to add? Questions, comments? Yeah, this is really great. I'm glad we have this time. I'm glad that our audience have really, benefited from your sharing. And I am so hopeful that people will take these words today, reflect on them, and just do what is needful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Self-development is very important.
Absolutely.
And this is one way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've all been trying to do it this one way of hustling and forcing ourselves. And like, even myself, I was someone who would say, okay, I'll rest when I figure this out. I'll rest when I get to this milestone. And so you're trying to stress yourself to a milestone and you never get there, which creates more stress. But when you actually work on your self-concept and you start to tell yourself, okay, maybe I don't know all the steps to get there, but I can figure it out along the way. Just that simple switch of thought, like it relaxes you and ideas just seem to come out of nowhere because your mind is more open and more receptive to getting the answers you need. And you can rest while doing it. You don't have to wait to get to the milestone. You don't have to wait to get the better job. You don't have to wait to whatever it is that you're trying to get to. Rest is actually very crucial to your journey. So when your body tells you to rest, rest.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us, and it's even, I don't know, it's more challenging in this country where we live for people to stop and rest.
Mhm.
Most people don't even have that time. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't have time to rest. I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you really think you can function?
Exactly. They're
Without
functioning on
rest?
coffee.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And what damage is that doing,
Yeah.
you know, to our body when we
Mhm.
try to use other stuff just to keep going?
Yeah.
And it's counterproductive, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow. I, I
I
am
mean, we
really,
could go on for ages, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. We could go on and on and on, but bottom line is we are responsible for our life. We are responsible for our own growth and development. We're not going to let another person do it for us. It's just going to be us. It's
Yep.
either we do it or it's not getting done.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you. And for next week, Tuesday, you know, we do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Next Tuesday's speaker is Alistair Banks. She's gonna share with us her own life story journey and other good stuff she has to share with us. Also boils down to self, you know, taking care of yourself, and that's the only way to get to live life to the fullest. So come back next week and join us at 8 p.m. Eastern. And please, for those who are not, those who are watching or those who weren't able to watch our podcast, we always have the replay link. So if you go to our wall, WOW pod 2121.org, you will find us. And I think Emily has also shared the link. So you can see our replay there, and that Leslie will also send you the link. So you can share with your friends who would like to, I'm sure would like to watch it, you know, at their own time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this was really a wonderful time we have with you. And thanks a lot for coming, and we wish you well. And we're gonna bring you back in the future to share with us more about, you know, the life coach, the work you do, and how it's been going for you. And thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So everyone, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we shall all gather again next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Emmanuel and Pastor Namdi. Thank you all for coming. And have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh, no, that was good.
Yeah.